Hi guys, it's Dan88 here, bringing you my fourth commentary video. And today we're going to do another comparative video, talking about which is more important to games, storyline or gameplay. So for this video we're going to use footage of The Walking Dead Season 2, the Telltale's game, and that will represent the story aspect of the video. And then for the gameplay aspect, I'm going to use FIFA 15. Now I know it's a little bit unfair on FIFA because obviously it's not able to have a story because it's football and whatever, but I think it highlights how games sell purely using gameplay mechanics and updates. So I think for this video it will serve the purpose. Okay, let's get to it.
Go on and wait outside. We have to go.
Kenny, please.
I only need a minute. Go on.
So first, let's talk about the importance of narrative, the storyline in the gameplay. So here we see The Walking Dead by a Telltale Games. Now Telltale Games make a very specific type of game where basically you play through the story and you make decisions, and those decisions influence what happens in the story further down the line. So for instance, in this you might opt to kill somebody, you might not opt to kill them, and then maybe in the next couple of episodes they'll come back and shoot you or something if you didn't kill them. So it's a very interesting and original idea, but it really relies on story. You have to get the story right, and so it's very, very important to their games, because the gameplay, as you can see from the video, is rather lacking. I mean, it's usually just button prompts, occasional bit of walking around looking for something, and that's it. So with these games, gameplay is sort of second to story. But they still sell very well. There's a Game of Thrones version of this game. There's obviously The Walking Dead Season 1. I think there's another one called A Wolf Among Us. I haven't actually played that one. But they sell really well. Other games where storyline has been important are things like The Last of Us and Order 1886. Now, some of these games have managed to balance storyline and gameplay, but I know the Order 1886 had rather mixed reviews because of a lack of gameplay. Even though the story was very good, the gameplay wasn't, and people weren't particularly impressed by that. Another example was the game a couple of years back called Two Souls with Ellen Page and William Dafoe. And I remember thinking, oh, that looks really good, story looks really cool, but apparently the gameplay was very, very poor, and the narrative wasn't enough to support it. So I really think the gameplay, although story is very important, gameplay can be equally important, and a balance does have to be struck between the two. Some games do just sell from gameplay alone, but I think a story, personally for me, is very important, and I know I don't buy a lot of games just for gameplay. FIFA is pretty much the only exception, FIFA and UFC.
Here we are, Alan Smith and myself, Martin Tyler, really looking forward to today's game. West Bromwich Albion in this game today versus Norwich City.
So now let's talk about gameplay and how important the gameplay mechanic is to selling a game and to its success. So we're going to use FIFA, and this is a game that obviously cannot really have a story. I mean, there's a career mode, but you wouldn't really call that a story. So it has to sell copies and be successful from gameplay alone. So every year FIFA have to improve the gameplay, how everything works together, all the separate mechanics, everything like that. They have to improve it, because otherwise people will just keep the old copies. If FIFA 14 isn't better than FIFA 13, people will just play FIFA 13 all the time. So it's a constant challenge for them, but at the same time it's easier because there's no storyline to think of. They don't have to think, oh, so what is this character going to do, and oh, where are they going to go now? It's not that. All they have to do is have, 21 men or 22 men, whatever it is, running around the pitch kicking the ball around. So in some respects it's easier if you just have gameplay and don't have to worry about a story, but as I said, yearly you have to make improvements, and that's something that maybe a game like the Telltale games don't really have to do. Other games that focus on gameplay is probably Call of Duty. That's probably the other big one. Their multiplayer aspect is what sells the games, and so they have to each year try and improve how that works, how it flows, how everybody can get the kills and enjoy the experience, and how they can tailor it to each individual person's style of play. Whether you're a fast-paced gamer, or whether you like, say, sniping or whatever. So Call of Duty is another one where gameplay is very important, but unlike FIFA, that does have a campaign mode, and so that kind of has a bit of an issue of making a good storyline as well. So although FIFA has to improve maybe more, Call of Duty has to focus on both things, and so you'd kind of say that their struggles were equal. But definitely, if these games, or Call of Duty mainly, if that had poor gameplay but a really good storyline, it wouldn't sell as great as previous ones where the storyline has been poor but the multiplayer gameplay was really enjoyable for players. So I think it is rather important to a great deal of games.
Jakob. Now they've got the ball, let's see what they can do with it. Hooper.
So let's come to our conclusion then. I think games need to find a balance between the two in order to be very successful. Games that have achieved this, for example, are The Last of Us, as I mentioned earlier, Dying Light, most of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor as well is another game that has a really good balance. But of course, the most famous one is this, GTA 5. Now, Grand Theft Auto have got it perfect. The storyline is good, it keeps you interested. This video, for example, is a mission, and one of my favourite missions, but it doesn't sacrifice gameplay. The gameplay is still really addictive, easy to use, and so the balance that they've got between the two is perfect, and it shows because this was one of the most successful games of last year and is very, very highly regarded by critics and by all gamers pretty much. So I think that getting the balance right is key to making a really good game, and neither storyline nor gameplay can outweigh the other. So I think that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave comments and like it, and of course subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much. Dan be out.